if somebody tries to tell me to do something, instead of feeling like I have to do it now because of, whatever, we don't need to get into the trauma of why that is there. But I'm like, like it's laughable. It's like, yeah, that doesn't work on me. Like, you're not going to peer pressure me into shit. Like, I don't do what I'm told. Like, this doesn't work. I stopped. It's really easy for me now to say no to everyone else and say yes to me. I'm making room for me. There's stuff that I want to do now that I'm doing because I want to do it and because I can. And that doesn't mean that it's easy. It's fucking scary and it's hard and I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm doing really big things right now. And I'm scared, but I'm doing them.
Yeah.
I'm being brave. I'm putting myself out there. And when it doesn't feel good, I don't do it. Sometimes I still get a little lost in the mix of what's happening here, but then I can talk about it, which again is outside of my comfort zone. I'm like, I'm struggling here. I'm dealing with this space. So to me, it's made a big shift to where when things come up that normally would have paralyzed me because I didn't think I was good enough, didn't think I was ready. It was too big of a stretch. It was too hard. It's now, okay, let's do this. And if something comes up that I don't want to do, I just don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, I just won't do it.
Sounds like a boundary, babe.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Okay, boundary hack. When you start living outside your comfort zone, you can set boundaries.
I think that a lot of times we talk about boundaries all the time, and we talk about like, how do we create boundaries? How are we doing boundaries? We were even going to do early episode of the podcast on boundaries, and we were trying to talk it out. I don't remember if we actually sat down to record it or not.
I don't think we did.
But it was like, okay, we don't know enough about boundaries to actually do an episode of the podcast on them, right? Because the truth of the time, and maybe it's changed now. Maybe we can actually do an episode on boundaries. I don't think so. But
I mean, did you just hear what just happened?
Yeah,
Turns out
you're really good at setting them. I think we're ready
to talk about boundaries now.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. What is helpful for you when it comes to, like, when you think about it through that lens now, where it's like, oh, I'm at a phase and a point in my life where I have zero qualms about saying no. Mm-hmm. What has allowed you to be able to do that, you think? What are some of the things that have helped?
Well, honestly, it's taken a lot of work. It's taken a lot of reflection. It's taken a lot of really, I came from a space where I had no power. I came from a space of where I didn't have choices. I felt I didn't have power at all. And when you're a little kid, you don't have power, but it was a different kind of powerlessness that continued on. Learning how to really start. It took a lot of inner work, a lot of parts work, a lot of shadow work, a lot of healing, just to start to even be able to hear the parts of me that dared think something different. This is a big topic. It was honestly, like I keep saying honestly, I'm really just trying to buy myself time, as I'm not really prepared for that question. It was a lot of things, and I've had really recent recognition of this, and I'm not perfect at it. I still get it really wrong a lot, but I'm getting it really right a lot. So I just kept going, and little by little, as I started to choose me and started to get healthy, I stopped allowing people in my life that were hurtful, that were harmful, that were toxic. I started to clean up my space, regardless of who they were. Because we have the whole thing of you only have, I don't know if I'm ready to say that part. It's like that you only have, one family. You only have cutting family members out is really painful and really scary. And it has another side effect that really fucking sucks, is that when you choose to cut somebody out, the people that are still wrapped up in that will then choose not to talk to you. Like, you don't cut these people out, but then they choose to leave you because you cut this person out. You cut the the center of the, you're like, this is toxic. This isn't healthy. I'm not participating in this anymore. And then other people disappear. And trying to be okay with that is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So, but that's their choice. And I'm still going to choose me. I'm still going to choose healthy. And I'm showing up for my kids better because I'm choosing me and I'm choosing healthy. And I really hope that they choose them no matter what. No matter what, no matter who it is, they always choose themselves. And you're like, oh, that's selfish. Well, okay. Yeah, good. Be selfish.
I don't think that's selfish at all, Steph.
Selfish.
I think that's what it's all about.
You're supposed to take care of yourself. It's not using other people for your benefit. That's not what this is. It's not allowing people to use and hurt you for their benefit. Like, you get to be healthy. You get to choose. So I've cleaned up my space, and more and more just working on myself, pushing those comfort zones, working on myself every day. I don't want to have to do it every day.
But I choose to.
But I choose to, because I know what life is like when I didn't. Who I am now, the life that I live now, I never thought was possible. It wasn't something that I ever thought was accessible to me. It wasn't possible. There was just no way. In fact, I wouldn't even allow myself to think it, because that's a terrible person. That's a selfish person. That's, who do they think that, all of the things, like I didn't deserve that. I was never good enough. And now I'm like, oh yeah, I am. Do I have a lot to heal? I do. But like, if you listen to the podcast, I got some shit.
It makes me think about we had an episode, and I don't remember which one it was, but we were talking about how hard healing is, how hard it is to change your life, how hard it is to do all the stuff that we have been able to do and again, it's like decade, we've been doing this thing called healing. I mean, truthfully, our whole life, but I mean, consciously in active ways for, 8-9 years. And it's really hard to do deep work on yourself when you're still in chaos, when you're still in survival. And so I think that as you're talking through all of this stuff, as we're talking through the idea of the comfort zone, and we're pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zone. I mean, I'm not stretching outside of, it's like you said earlier, right? The ability to stretch outside of your comfort zone is pretty much non-existent when you're in fight, flight, or freeze, or fawn, right? When you're in an activated response, the last thing you're doing is like, oh, let me do this scary thing. Everything's fucking scary. Everything's fucking horrible. Everything's really, really hard. You're not looking for ways to stretch that more. You're looking for ways for, to make things smaller. I need my zone to be smaller. I need everything to come closer. Not everything, but I mean, do you know what I mean? It's like things are really challenging right now. I'm not looking for ways to stretch and grow. I'm looking for ways to survive.
We were meant to be. We were meant to be.